I'm Doug. At the online poker tables, I go by Lazy River Guy. I came up with that name because right before I was making my account, I was talking to my brother about a vacation we had gone on, and he was kind of making fun of me about how much time I spent in the Lazy River. And I said, man, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just a Lazy River guy. And to me, there is nothing more relaxing than floating around in a tube, drink in your hand, sun beating down, maybe some music going on in the background or something. It's the best. Speaking of drinks, I'm pretty new at talking to camera, and this whole thing seems kind of stuffy and formal so far. So I'm going to pour myself a drink, and then I'll come back. I'll tell you about how I got into poker, and I'll explain why there's a rubber duck in my thumbnail. I love a good rum and coke, or Cuba Libre if you want to sound like a pretentious jerk, but that's not a very pokery drink. What would a poker player order?
2 Woodfords!
That's exactly what I'd order. Cheers. It's good. I don't think I've had Woodford before. I bought this just for that bit. Alright. Anyway, where was I? I was going to tell you how I got into poker and explain the rubber duck thing. In high school, I had never heard of Texas Hold'em. I thought the only poker variants there were the 5-card draw and 7-card stud my dad and grandpa had taught me. One night, my buddy Johnny invited me to his home game, and I got a friendly and inexpensive lesson. I left with an empty wallet, but I was hooked. I loved it. After that, I found Full Tilt and played pretty regularly. I never pretended to be very good, but I found that by playing a lot of tables, I could beat the very worst players on the internet, and that kept me in beer money and paid for a couple of textbooks and also bought a trinket for the occasional girlfriend. Bought the occasional trinket for girlfriend. You know what I mean. Whatever. After Black Friday, there were no online options where I was, and there wasn't a casino within driving distance. I got pretty into bar league poker, and if you don't know what that is, it's restaurants that run a free tournament a couple nights a week, usually on one of their slow nights, and it's free to enter, and the prize is usually a gift card. The expectation is you'll come in and have a beer, 2, 5, and the bar gets more traffic, you have a fun night out, maybe you win something, whatever. There's also points and regionals, but that's quite enough about bar league poker. Fast forward to 2017, I've moved, and now there's multiple casinos within a reasonable drive, and at least one site accepting players from my new state. So I slowly got back into playing. What about the rubber duck? Oh yeah, I have 2 young kids. That means that a lot of the music that I hear every day comes from Disney or Sesame Street or whatever. There's this old Sesame Street sketch where Ernie goes to Hoots the Owl for advice because he wants to learn how to play the saxophone. And it becomes apparent that the reason Ernie can't play the saxophone well is because he refuses to put down his beloved rubber ducky. A very catchy musical number ensues called Put Down the Ducky. The point of the song is you can't be great at something if you're not giving it your full effort and attention. And I know it sounds dumb, but for whatever reason, that song really resonated with me and kind of stuck to it. I bought a little rubber duck to keep nearby when I play, and it reminds me to stay focused and whatever. Also, as a small stakes online player, I'm not really playing in events where I can win a trophy or a bracelet or a ring. And so I've come up with my own little criteria for winning a tournament. If it meets these criteria, I buy a rubber duck and put it on my own little trophy shelf. Assembling this little flock of ducks is it a flock of ducks? I don't know. Assembling this little flock of ducks kind of reminds me that I'm making progress, even when I don't always think it, or when it doesn't always seem like it. Those who know me well know that this video is a long time in coming. I originally had the idea to make this channel 4 years ago, during the height of COVID, I had just found out that my office was never going to reopen and we were all out of jobs. I was fortunate to be in a position where I didn't immediately need to find new work. It seemed like a good time to pursue poker more seriously and hopefully fall into a career of playing and creating poker content. That didn't happen for a couple of reasons. One reason is, whether you're winning or not, trying to pay the bills with poker is a big time commitment. And it didn't feel right to sit in my office and play poker all day when me and my wife were both home and we had this rare opportunity to spend so much more time together. Secondly, there are so many poker vlogs. I didn't think that anyone would want to watch me grind micro stakes when they could watch somebody punt a stack bigger than the salary I used to have. So I got a little discouraged, or talked myself out of it, whatever you want to say. I still played, but it became very low-key, very recreational, very once in a while kind of thing. I didn't stream very often, and I didn't start the YouTube channel despite having filmed a bunch of content. Most of it I'm just going to scrap because it's not relevant anymore. But if you'll indulge me, I want to play one video that I made for you guys. I didn't know anything about editing. We were still in lockdown. I was calling friends and family members for cameos and footage and voiceovers, and it was a huge pain. And I'm really proud of the finished product. It's a parody of the intro to one of my favorite TV shows, so I hope you enjoy it. Cheers.
My name is Lazy River Guy. I used to be employed until...
Almost 100,000 small businesses permanently closed since the pandemic.
During a pandemic, you've got almost nothing. A little cash, a little crypto, and definitely no job. You're stuck wherever you happen to be when the world locks down.
Where am I?
You do whatever work comes your way. You rely on anyone who's still talking to you. A trigger-happy best friend.
Oh my god, shoot them!
A brother who has no reason to inform on you to the FBI.
You know poker players. It's a bunch of bitchy little girls.
Bottom line, until you build a bankroll, you're not going anywhere.
Moving forward on this channel, I plan to do a variety of poker content. It won't all be silly sketches. Some of it will be more traditional vlog format, some hand histories, and hopefully I'll show you some big wins both live and online. That being said, I think people that make poker and gambling content have a responsibility to be transparent about their losses too. There's too many people out there that make poker and gambling lifestyles seem so glamorous because they don't show their downswings or they don't show, going bust or whatever. On this channel, if somebody backs me for an event, I'll disclose that. If I'm only playing an event because I want to satellite into it, I'll disclose that too. If I punt my entire bankroll and have to take a break until I can rebuild it, I'm going to tell you. The point is, I'm going to go to great lengths to be honest with my content. Win, lose, or draw, or stud, or Omaha. What you aren't going to see on this channel anytime soon is me regging any super high rollers, or six-figure pots, or million-dollar scores. I am a low-stakes recreational player. Right now, poker is a serious hobby. I study, I try to surround myself with players better than me, but I'm a dad and a husband first. Playing poker is usually shoehorned into my day after everybody's asleep. Case in point, I'm filming this at 1:36 in the morning, hoping nobody wakes up. Just because I'm currently in the micros doesn't mean we don't have goals for this channel. The first one is build a real bankroll. A lot of people use 10K as a nice round benchmark number, but we're going to use 5K. The reason for that is we're playing mostly online, and a 5K bankroll is enough to play anything I'd want to play on a regular basis. It's also the minimum that I would want to go play 1-2. live. Once we reach that goal, we'll set some new ones. Thanks for watching. Time is valuable, and I appreciate yours. I promise that future videos will have some actual poker. I can feel the words like and subscribe trying to come out of my mouth, and I don't like it. Look, if you like the video, if you want to follow along this journey, you know where the buttons are. Just be gentle on that like button. It's her first time. Cheers. I did not expect to have whiskey left when I was done with that.